Alright, this week we're going to talk a little bit more about logistics. Now a lot of people are thinking, oh man, I want to go play. Yeah, but this is going to make it a lot better for you to play. Having driven halfway across the country and then playing while exhausted, it's not fun. And you want to avoid that. You want to be refreshed, alert, awake. You want to be ready to go Saturday morning and start playing. Road trip from hell. Yeah. Anyway, so I want to start by pointing out my GPS over here. Let's see if I can do this without glare. There we go. Now this is how long my GPS is saying it's going to take me to get from point A to point B, get to EMR paintball. Okay, that's all cool. The thing is, though, that GPSs don't account for things like, traffic conditions, weather conditions, the fact that we're human and we need to do things like eat and take pee breaks, things like that. So you want to account for that yourselves. Don't trust whatever the mapping system says how long it takes. It's going to take longer than that. It always does. So, a couple things to consider. First of all, let's talk about the time to distance ratio. For every 60 miles you go, that's about 1 hour of travel. Now, people are going to say, oh, I'm going more than 60 miles an hour. Yeah, you are, but you have to account for things like stopping, getting gas, getting food, all that other good stuff. So you want to make sure that that you don't want to be like rushing, because the last thing you want to do is have your foot on the floor, gripping the steering wheel, saying, we got to make time, we got to make time. That sucks. You don't want to do that. You want to give yourself plenty of time to drive. Enjoy the drive. Being stressed out when you get to the field, not so much fun. So, with that in mind, every 4 or 6 hours, you want to plan a break, if not a complete stop. Anything more than that, if you keep on Ironmanning through, you're going to get exhausted and you're just not going to be really there. Get out of the car for a little while. Enjoy the air for a little bit. Get away from the other sweaty people in the car, things like that. Years of experience, believe me. Let's see, also speaking about logistics, you want to avoid major cities during rush hour. And this is where you want to start your pre-planning now. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Anything, if you're like my route, the route that I have in my pocket over here, it's taking me through Chicago, through a bunch of other cities along the route. I want to avoid rush hour in those cities, because they suck. So you want to adjust your leave time so that you're not in there. So sometime between the 6:30 to about 9:30 in the morning, and then 4 o'clock to about 7 o'clock in the evening, avoid major cities if you can. And this is where having a paper map is going to come in handy, because if you have a paper map, then you can look down the city route and go, oh, okay, we can just skirt around town by taking this way and going like this, and you're fine. GPS units don't really have that capability yet. At least as far as I know. There's probably one guy who's like, oh, my GPS does that. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Just kind of plan ahead for that. That's why during the last road trip I did, I actually left Chicago about 2 o'clock in the morning so I could get around. I had to go through Chicago. Doing it early AM, I avoided all the traffic on the Dan Ryan. Okay, more logistic stuff. And I want to talk about your car for this one. And that is, what are you taking with you? And how big is the vehicle that you're taking? Now, the Jeep, I've talked about her before. She gets really not that great gas mileage on the highway, but I got lots of cargo space. I could probably fit 3 or 4 bodies in there if I want to. But the trade-off is I'm not going to get the best gas mileage out of this thing. Now, if you're driving a smaller car, better gas mileage, but that's less cargo room. And considering most people have gear bags that they can try to fit one of their teammates into, that's not going to work on a road trip like this. So you want to consolidate all that you can. You want to pack it down as much as you can. If you can do it, you want to try to pack so that you're in one bag. That's the goal. Now, if you can't do that, then just bring the bare minimum stuff that you need. And this is where you're going to kind of have to ask yourself, well, do I really need that 3rd squeegee? Do I really need that 27th pod? Things like that, because if the more stuff you take, that's the less stuff somebody else can take. And actually that kind of reminds me in a strange way, when you're planning on picking people up on the route, add half an hour for every person you're picking up. It's just the way things work. I mean, you get to the guy's house, he's not ready to go, you got to get all his gear, put it in the car, figure out how you're going to fit it in the trunk. Oh wait, I forgot, I got to go grab this one other thing, and he runs back into the house and comes back out, and yeah, half an hour. And I know there's going to be 1 or 2 guys that are like, well, I'm always ready to go. My gear bag's right next to the door. I can just be out the door in about 2 minutes. Yeah, that's nice. You're a mutant. Thank you very much. For the rest of us in the real world, add about half an hour per person. And there you go. So that's just a couple things to think about on your route. Start planning your route now so that you actually have it in mind.